Hey everybody, it's Tony George from DocSports.com, along with my good buddy Sean Salisbury. And Sean, how you doing? I don't have
Good.
my Kansas City Royals hat to show off for you, Houston Astro fan. We've kind of been taking care of business against you.
Yeah, they don't want to play Merrifield and the Royals. They're good. It's a good thing the Royals aren't going to be in the playoffs because the Astros would not get through the Royals. And I think people in Houston know that's a bad matchup for them. So I'm a Red Sox guy anyway. Astros are second on my plate. I'm a Red Sox guy, and they did win with a walk-off yesterday. So I'll take it. But the
Yeah.
Royals are beating. The Royals are beating the hell out of the Astros. It's not been good.
I'd give you a hard time. We're talking NFL, folks. We're talking season win totals. The San Francisco 49ers season win total is 10.5, and probably no doubt on the planet, this is the toughest division in football, Sean. And I wanted to run down the season win totals for you and make a statement and get your immediate reaction. Season win totals this year in the NFC West: San Francisco 10.5, LA Rams 10.5, Seattle 10.5, Arizona 8.5. So in order to achieve 11 wins to go over the total in this, I think you're probably going to have to win the division. The question is, can the Niners win the division?
Yeah, it goes to show you how difficult it is. You got three teams at 10.5 wins and an Arizona team that if they flip the script in a couple games and play better, they're a possible playoff team and a surprise team if the quarterback has that quantum leap year in Kyler Murray. If the quarterback play is right, and I don't know if it's going to be Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo. If Jimmy does win the job, he's going to be, that shoulder. That's a short leash, man. He'll be looking over his shoulder, and he's been there before, and he understands it. When you're just talking about he has a ceiling, there is no ceiling on Trey Lance. So that just depends on when Kyle Shanahan is ready to make that move. And what's interesting, Tony, about this is this roster, when healthy, is one of the best in the league. I mean, you think they got Bosa and Kittle and Ayuk and Debo Samuel and Fred Warner. I mean, everywhere you look, Trent Williams, they're loaded, man. And so last year, all the injuries, aberration. If the quarterback plays, he doesn't have to be Aaron Rodgers, but if he plays at a rate that's he's a playoff type quarterback this year, they're winning the division. I like the over in it. I think now Stafford and the Rams are a concern of mine. Because the Stafford, if you're a 49er fan, that is, because I think with Sean McVay and Stafford, they finally got a guy that I think McVay believes, even though they've been to a Super Bowl, that they're even better off with Stafford than Jared Goff. And I couldn't agree more. Stafford is a great player. But I like the 49ers roster. I like the play callers in the division are all pretty damn good, at least in three of those teams. Seattle's trying to get it. You got a quarterback to bail you out. So I'm taking the over in the 49ers. I think 11 wins the division. And I'm going to assume that the quarterback position plays well this year. And if they do, I think that they can overtake the Rams. But both those teams, and maybe three of them, are going to make the playoffs in the West.
Well, Garoppolo, a couple of things here. Garoppolo has shown that he just can't stay healthy. And you have a situation here, much like we talked about New England. We're going to talk about Chicago Bears on our other video here today and their win total. Those three teams there, you have rookie quarterbacks that probably are going to be the starter before the season is over. And I think that's the case here with Trey Lance. He's impressed me somewhat in the preseason. Of course, he's also a long way from North Dakota State, and you could see that on some plays, hanging on to the ball. Last year, you went from the Super Bowl to a 6-10 season. You had a quarterback that went down. Nick Mullins led the team last year, if that tells you anything. And losing Nick Bosa, too, last year was a huge, huge hit to these guys. And they had injuries across their defensive line last year. And in this division, that is just death to Smoochie. Now, the one team I think that won't get there is Seattle. Just they're kind of makeshift on defense. I know their reputation. They have the best quarterback in the division. And this is a division also, Sean, I will tell you, top to bottom, one through four have the four best quarterbacks in any division in the league. I mean, Kyler Murray, you say what you want to say about this cat, but I'll tell you something. That kid can flat out ball. He can throw the ball. There's a lot of things he can do. Like you mentioned, I'm not sold on Cliff Kingsbury as an NFL. Well, let me be kind. maybe he is an NFL quarterback, maybe he is an NFL head coach, but I'm not sure he's an NFL offensive coordinator. There's a big difference between the two, Sean, and you know this from experience. You've been around
And
head coaches, you know, Danny Green, some of the guys you've been with over the years there, and I think that's going to be Arizona's downfall. And I think San Francisco has the team that can beat Arizona twice. In order to win this division, you're going to have to beat somebody twice, Sean. You know, you can't just split with Seattle and LA. And I think the Rams are probably I think the Rams and the 49ers here are 1 and 1A. I mean, and it just
I would
depends on
agree.
how it goes. You
Yeah, I
know,
would
and
agree.
I think go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you finish.
Well, I just think that I'm wondering about your thoughts with this defense. Now they lost a very good defensive coordinator, and they've had to replace him, but for sure the cupboards are full. You know, it's kind of hard to screw it up, especially at this defensive line, Sean.
Yeah, and they're deeper this year too, Tony. Not only getting Bosa back, but they've got some depth there, and that's even after DeForest Buckner last year, who they obviously traded for a first-round pick and was able to use that obviously, and then they traded 2 first-rounders to get Trey Lance. Listen, he did this for Jimmy. The ceiling, Trey Lance does things that Jimmy can't do. Yet Jimmy's probably further along, obviously, as he should be in the mental part of the game because he's been in the league longer. On the defensive front, depth is going to matter. The quarterbacks in this division, you are right. The fourth quarterback in this division could win the MVP this year.
Yeah,
That's a true story. I mean, he could.
yeah,
And Trey Lance's ability, or Jimmy threw 30 plus touchdowns the year they went to the Super Bowl and had a pretty solid season. Just couldn't pull it out in the fourth quarter and play well. So I'm with you, and with Cliff Kingsbury, in Arizona, Kyler Murray is a monster talent. And if he has that
oh,
breakthrough year and he's getting better, he's a dangerous football player. But with Cliff Kingsbury, and you make a great point, great college play caller. And, didn't win a lot at Texas Tech. They won some, but he's an innovative mind and been around good offensive minds. But the jump from college, I remember it was the shortest offensive coordinator stint ever. SC hired him. And before he even really got settled in on campus, he was taking the head coaching job at Arizona, and rightfully so. I would have too. Yeah. But he is a college offensive coordinator and a college head coach. It's different. The game moves different, play caller rhythm. So while I think like Sean Payton and Andy Reid, as they go on in their careers, you want to do both. But both of those guys were longtime assistants and coordinators in NFL teams for the longest time. And so they can handle both. I just think it's tough for a new head coach in the NFL to do both. You're trying to manage a football team, offense, defense, special teams, and situational football. And then you've got to now call plays, and it's 3rd and 1. You're scrambling around. So at some point, Cliff's either got to find somebody he can trust to call a game like him or prove that he can do both. Now, they've gotten better every year record-wise. The question is, can they get over the top in a brutal division? Arizona could shock some people. I'm with you on Seattle. Russ Wilson's dangerous, so he keep you in it. Those two are the best, the Rams and the 49ers. And if the 49ers can match the quarterback play in the other 3 cities, then the 49ers are a dangerous team. And I would expect their defense to give them better stuff this year, and I would expect their offense to be more explosive.
The one thing that concerns me, and I'm going to agree with you, I'm going to go over 11 wins, but it's not because of the quarterback position, because I think of all the starting quarterbacks in this division, San Francisco has the weakest one.
Agreed.
You know, Matt Stafford, by the way, if he had not been in Buffalo for the past decade or more, he probably
Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. With
Yeah.
any other team, he might even have a Super Bowl ring. He's that talented.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
the bottom line there is when they signed Trent Williams at left tackle, 6 years, $135 million. Now they got Alex Mack at center. They have maybe the best offensive line in the division, and they have the defensive line is 1A right behind the Rams because of Donald in general. But at the end of the day here, I think up front in the trenches overall, they're the best team in the league. And bear in mind, they drafted 2 running backs, and nobody forgot how good Mossert was because he got hurt last year. This guy was an absolute stud the year they went to the Super Bowl. I mean, he was a great running back. He can do it all. And he's got 2 capable backups and 2 solid rookies coming in there. And Kyle Shanahan's going to want a 50-50 his offense and balance his attack. And the one thing that Shanahan has over, well, maybe not McVay, but he's equal with McVay in being a play caller. And I think that puts San Francisco over the top this year. I got faith in them. I think they have enough weapons around. Kittle's the best tight end in the league, in the division, and maybe top 3 in the league. So at the end of the day here, I think they have enough playmakers around, a good quarterback system, and a good head coach that knows how to coach quarterbacks. The fact they got 6 wins with Mullins last year is a miracle. So at the end of the day, I agree with Sean Salisbury. Over 10.5 wins, San Francisco 49ers. Catch Sean, iHeartRadio, on the Sean Salisbury Show, absolute best sports talk show on the planet. And, of course, at Sean Unfiltered. Check me out, DocSports.com, where we always have a free $60 for any new members. Thanks for tuning in.